Hello and welcome to this YouTube Live about the reasons your mediumship is getting worse. So if you're doing your mediumship at the moment, you find that you're practicing and it's getting worse and you're wondering why it's getting worse, there could be a number of reasons why it's getting worse. And some of these reasons are quite, one of the reasons that it can be is lack of confidence. So a reason why your mediumship could be getting worse, it may be that you've been in a practice circle and you've been practicing with some people and it just hasn't worked the way you wanted to. So then it's just turned out and just been, you've had a loss of confidence due to not being able to work the way you'd like to. So another thing that it can be is, that you have the lack of power. So it may be that you've been doing mediumship for a while and you just turn up and you just do it and you say, I don't know why it just doesn't link in or doesn't blend the way I wanted, or spirit's not being felt the way I wanted. And it could be just the lack of power, which means if you wanted to remedy this and to actually have a positive influence on your mediumship, then sitting in the power regularly will help cure this mediumship problem when you feel like it's getting worse. So that's one thing you can do. When you've had a loss of confidence due to you've been practicing in practice circles and it's like not been working the way you want it to work and that sort of thing, then really you should be looking at how can you build your confidence. So you've got to look at the long haul here. A lot what happens when people have loss of confidence in their mediumship, what they do is they end up judging themselves on the last contact they made or the last 2 or 3 contacts they made. But really you should be looking at you should be keeping a note of all the good ones that you do as well, which really shows you that you can build on that confidence. So loss of confidence can be one of the reasons why your mediumship's not working the way it should be. Now, to regain the confidence is, I'd say, sit in the power, build the power, build your confidence, and sit in the power, but sit in the power of confidence. So what I would say is maybe just write the word energetically confidence on the chair you're going to be sitting in and just sit in there and sit in the power of confidence. That would really help you to adjust you to have more confidence in yourself and in your mediumship. So the blending is not strong enough can be one of them. And that's where you're getting your contact with the spirit world. You're asking them to come closer, and you may have done quite a lot of links, and you've been doing quite a lot of contacts. And when I say link, I mean a connection with the spirit communicator. But you may be doing that quite a lot in circles, and then all of a sudden you've got into like what might be, just a slur of doing it and say, I've always done it this way. But if you then say, well, I need to get that blending stronger, then it's a case of concentrating on powering yourself up before you work. Really, really empowering yourself before you work. And that is where you can do on this channel. I do have a 5-minute sitting in the power. It's a really good way to power yourself up before you go to circle, a good way to power yourself up before you work. And that can really help you and your sensitivity before you connect to the spirit world. So then when you do connect to the spirit world and you shift your energy back into the spirit world, and then you feel that the spirit world are there, like when the blending's not right, you'll feel that the spirit world are like miles away. So really you want to bring them in a lot closer. And to do that, it's a case of you shifting your focus and your feelings, your focus to the spirit communicator, but let them come in closer so that you can really get that blending stronger. That's another thing. And there's a few other reasons why your mediumship could be getting worse, and that could be your mind is not focused. Look at our daily lives. We've got a lot of things going on in our daily lives, like you've got your social media, you've got things going on, you've got distractions in social media and all that sort of thing, and that really can be the reason why you just feel that you're not quite focused with the spirit world. Like you may say, I've got a connection with the spirit world, and then suddenly your mind drifts off to something else. Now, in that way, you can realize it's because of the lack of focus. To cure the lack of focus, before you work with the spirit world, it's a good idea not to spend too much time on social media, not to spend too much time being distracted, because what we've actually done is we've taught ourselves to get distracted in our lives. And if we've taught ourselves to get distracted in our lives, then we're teaching ourselves to get distracted in our mediumship, because we are the medium. So where our mind is at, that's where our mediumship is at. So, absolutely. Someone's just written, deep breaths will work as well. Yes, absolutely. If you want to get that blending, deep breaths will work to really help you get more focus within inside of yourself, but also to help you just center. That will help. But if your mind is all over the place from being on social media beforehand, and then you say, oh, I've just been feeding the children or doing other things or going to the sports center, I'm getting back to right now, I'm just going to do circle. And it's like your mind's all over the place, but when you connect to the spirit world, it's not focused. So moving into that focus is a thing that we should do. Now, the breath is one way of moving into the focus. I'm glad that some people are noticing that that's what it is. But think about this: if your mind, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to train your mediumship, is not focused due to being distracted, then that's the reason why your mediumship's getting worse, because you've trained your mind to be all over the place. So when you do get that connection with the spirit world, your mind is still in the same mode of not being focused. And to get it focused is to train focus, like train your mind to be more focused. So in that way, it could be going on less on social media before you have to work. Try not to get distracted before you work, at least an hour or 2 hours before you actually do work. And if you can keep yourself focused before you work, then you'll find that will remedy the problem with being focused. For me, I went a little bit more extreme. I just don't go on social media. And I find since I've done that the mediumship has evolved very, very, very much. And it's a lot more focused, and the information is a lot more in the flow. And that's what I've noticed with my experiment with getting off social media and getting myself more focused. So I'm just sharing this with you guys because I've experimented this for you. I've been doing it for about 52 days now. So obviously I do go on there to say hi and that sort of thing, but I really stay focused most of the time. I would say 90% of the time I stay focused. And in changing the way your brain thinks, it in your daily life, remedies it in your connection to the spirit world. So, using there are different breath techniques you can use. You can use breathing in for 3 and then breathing out for 5, all that sort of thing to really get yourself into focus before you work. But if your mind is all over the place due to you keeping yourself too busy, it may be good just to take those 2 hours off before you actually work, and you'll find that your connection with the spirit world will be better, and you'll also find that the information that you're giving will be better, and it'll be a lot more focused. So this is another reason why your mediumship can get worse. So if you remember, one I said was lack of power, which if to remedy lack of power, not being at the right vibration, is sitting in the power. The blending is not strong enough. Then I said, just really empower yourself beforehand. Ask spirit to come closer and move yourself energetically to spirit. The loss of confidence, like I said before, write in the letters on the chair in white, confidence in your mind. Sit in it and sit in the power of confidence before you work and see how that helps with remedying it. Another thing is to let go of negative thoughts, because when we're working with mediumship in circles or practice circles, if our mind is saying to us, that could have been better. Oh, you haven't got enough evidence. It's like the backseat driver, sitting in the back of your car saying, you got to turn right, you got to turn left. Oh, you didn't do that right. You should have stopped. That backseat driver, your mind, is, your mind can be really destructive in your mediumship. If your mind is working while you're working with the spirit world, then it's interfering with at least 50% of your contact. And you don't want that. You want to have a pure contact. You want to really shift gears here. And shifting gears within your mediumship is all it is shifting your mind. So whenever the mind comes in and tries to judge your work while you're working, say to it, no, you go into one side, move away, I'm doing this. And you can, at that moment, to remedy it, shift into the feelings. And if you shift into the feelings, you'll find, okay, the mind can't work out feelings. So then you're moving away from the mind, you see. If you're in the mind, you're trying to think about how things are and work out a contact, and your mind's telling you, it's not good enough, you haven't got enough evidence. Shift to the feelings of the communicator and feel what the communicator has to say. That will be a quick remedy just to get you away from the thoughtful mind that could be with those destructive negative thoughts. So what do we do with the destructive negative thoughts? We stamp them out. And the way to do it, before you start work, just throw your negative mind to one side, say, I'm not using you. Or when you decide to sit in the chair to work, leave your mental mind in a different chair. Have two chairs. I've got one beside me here, this one here. And I would leave myself, my mental mind there, my ego there. And when I come to work, then I'm sitting as the medium for spirit. And that really helps. It's just like a little ritual you can do that really helps shifting yourself into a more focused state of mind. It's also helping you to really remedy the negative thought pattern. If any negative thoughts come in when you're working, you just say, hey, stop, you're not in here. I'm going into the feelings of the communicator now, and then just move away from the mind. So the reasons your mediumship can be getting worse is, welcome to the new people that are arriving. It's good to see you here. So the reason is, all these things is the reason the mediumship's getting worse is because we're not focused, and because we're not got the blending right, or the power's not right, or we haven't got the confidence, or our mind is getting in the way. These things can be very destructive within our mediumship, and really we can remedy them all by dedicating time to ourselves and our development. So if we say, I'm going to sit in the power 5 minutes a day, every day, or 10 minutes or 25 minutes, whatever works for you. I'm going to blend with the spirit world, maybe once every 2 days, just to feel what the spirit world is, just to remedy that. I'm going to start writing down things I'm good at to build on that confidence. And when your mind's not focused, getting off social media 2 hours before you actually have to work will help. And putting yourself in a quiet space before you work will also help you get focused. Also, the breathing will help. Remembering the center and the core of your being, that is never disturbed with what's going on outside of you. So it's quite an amazing thing. There can be a storm going on outside, but if you really feel inside yourself, you'll find that the core of your being, there is a stillness and a wisdom there that's always there, always still. So power up before you work is one remedy, and that's just 5 minutes in the power before you work. And then also the empowering connection to the spirit world, bring them in close. And also one thing is believe in you, because if you believe in you, you're believing in you as a person. And that means everyone's got their good things and bad things in themselves, but if you believe in you and what you're here to do, then you've made yourself a really strong reminder of who you are. And then believe in the spirit world, because if you believe in you and the spirit world, then you've got two forces here that come together, and that will really propel you to do better within your mediumship. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Just know, if you can cure your lack of power and you can get that blending stronger and you can build your confidence, get your mind focused before you work, get off social media for a while, let your negative thoughts, put them to one side, shift into the positive thoughts, and start keeping a journal of all the things that you feel that you're good at, and then start praising yourself for your achievements. That will help. Believe in you, believe in the spirit world, and power up before you work. Thank you.